So this is a very quick little lesson about IELTS speaking, and particularly speaking part one, how to simply improve your answers, especially when you need or you think you should answer in the negative by saying no. So often when you say no, when you're asked a question, it sounds like that's the end of the conversation, but it should not be the end of the conversation because this is an IELTS and English exam and they need to hear your English, so you should keep talking. So firstly, when you're asked a question in speaking part one and you decide to answer no, or you feel you have to answer no, then you should still keep talking. So try to include the following in your answer when you keep talking. Present perfect. So present perfect has good grammar to show in the IELTS speaking, particularly in part one. It immediately catches the examiner's attention. Relative clauses, of course, because relative clauses extend your sentences, make your speech longer, your answer longer, as do linking words. Therefore, when you answer in the negative, you should try to use at least these when you do. So when you're asked a question and you want to say no, you often say, no, I don't, but, or no, I haven't, but. This would be a good way to begin answering these questions. So you don't want to say, just say no, or no, I don't. So do you have a lot of keys? No, I don't, but, and then you continue. Have you ever traveled to a foreign country? No, I haven't, but, and then you can keep talking. So you do not answer by saying, no, I haven't, or no, I don't. Example. So do you like baking? No, I don't. I never bake. And that's the end of the conversation. It's not very interesting. And look at the length of these sentences. They're very, very short, and there's no marks available. But a better way of answering would be to say, no, I don't, but I'd like to try. So this time it's slightly longer sentence, and you've got I'd like to do something in there. Or you could say, no, I don't, but I like eating cakes. So they're all better than the first answer. The first answer, no, I don't, I never bake. Short, boring, and no information whatsoever, and certainly no marks. But we can do better than this. We know different words for but, for example, and we want to include present perfect and relative clauses if we can, because that will impress the examiner in speaking part one in particular. So let's look at a better answer. So this time you say no. Although I have never baked anything in my life, I have often watched my mother bake cakes. When I was young, she used to make my birthday cake. It was usually a chocolate cake, as I love chocolate. So this is a good negative answer. Why? Well, you've got lots of present perfect, lots of good grammar in there. You've got I have never baked, I have often watched, and then you contrast this with the past simple. It was usually a chocolate cake, and you have also got she used to make. So you've got several good pieces of grammar there, and you're contrasting past and present, which is good. But also you're using the linking words like although instead of but. So that's immediately better than but. And also you say at the end it was usually a chocolate cake, as I love chocolate. As means because. So therefore you've got a lot of marks in that answer, and that's just from saying no. And it's certainly better than saying no, I don't, or no, I haven't. Or this could be your answer instead. No, despite the fact that I have never baked anything in my life, I have often watched my mother bake cakes. When I was young, she used to make my birthday cake. It was usually a chocolate cake, as I love chocolate. Now, this time, instead of although, he's used despite the fact that, and that sounds even better than although. Again, when you think of your first answer, you said no, or no, I don't, or no, I don't, but this is way better than any of these answers. So this is how to answer a negative question. Say no, and then say, although I have never done this, and then you've got a good answer. Example 2, let's go. So, do you talk to strangers? It could sound like a strange question in itself. So you could say, no, I don't. I never talk to strangers. Very short answer, not many marks there. In fact, no marks there. So we want to do better. How about this? My parents always told me never to talk to strangers. Despite not talking to strangers in person, I have sometimes spoken to them online. For example, I often play online games where I can play with my friends or people I have never met before. Again, here are a lot of marks in this negative answer. So despite not doing something, and this time it would be very impressive to do it because you're using despite and then changing the grammar from although and but. You're saying despite plus ing verb, but also you're using not, which is quite difficult to do. So this is difficult grammar and difficult cohesive device. And if you use it correctly in an answer like this, it's very impressive. And then you follow it up with present perfect. And of course, you have a good structure because then you give a little example. Then you follow it up with, for example, by giving a little example, and then you use the pronoun where to extend the sentence, and then you use present perfect again. So this is a very simple way of answering negatively questions in speaking part one. Or you could say, my parents always told me never to talk to strangers. Even though I don't usually talk to strangers in person, I have sometimes spoken to strangers online. For example, I often play online games where I can play with friends or people I have never met before. So again, this time, two present perfects in there. You've got the pronoun with where, you've got the good structure with for example. This time you said even though. Much better answer because everything you see in the grey there is going to get you marks. Therefore, when you're asked in speaking part one a question and you want to say no, no is not the end of the conversation. You can still get some marks.